have an award to give this game. Welcome to From Center Ice. My name is Courtney, and once again, I am here to recap the night that was in NHL playoff hockey. Last night, we had Game 4 between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the New York Rangers, the second game in Tampa, and this series has been dominated by the home team. The first two games in New York, the Rangers took both of them. Then the series shifted down to Florida, where the Tampa Bay Lightning won both of those games. Spoiler alert, Tampa won this game. And before we jump into the goals that happened in this one, I have an award to give this game. And that is the award for the most boring game to have a combined 66 shots on goal. Whoever the shot counters were last night must have just been hitting the button because they were so bored. I mean, we saw it from the guy operating the goal horn, so why not the shot counters? If you don't know what I'm talking about, 5 minutes and 10 seconds into the first period, the Tampa Bay Lightning took a shot on goal and the puck didn't go in the net, but the horn went off. So they must have either thought the puck went in or somebody spilled coffee on the goal horn button, but it was a very confusing moment, and it resulted in the ref on the ice being very annoyed that they had to stop play, because he had to come to the center of the ice and explain that there was no goal and they had to stop play because the goal horn went off, and he just looked fed up with everybody while doing that. That may have been the highlight of the night right there. And it came very early in the game. But let's talk about the goals. 2 minutes and 38 seconds into the first period, also early in this game, Bellemare had the puck in the neutral zone right in front of the Tampa Bay bench because Tampa had just cleared their defensive zone. He sent it all the way across the ice to Zach Bogosian, who broke into the offensive zone down the right wing. Now, Zach Bogosian is a defenseman, but as he got to the bottom of the right circle, he decided, I'm just gonna take the puck to the net myself. In doing so, he also decided to activate his fancy hands ability and was just deking the puck in between the defenders, especially Justin Braun. Made him look a little bit silly on the play, but then he took the puck to the net, but Igor Shesterkin came up with the save. Unfortunately, the rebound came off of his pads, and as Patrick Maroon is just flying by the net, he gets a stick on the puck and it just flutters over Igor Shesterkin and into the net. 1-0 Tampa. That goal was just so weak. Shesterkin wasn't really in a spot to save it because he was out at the top of his crease, and maybe he could have reached for it. I'm sure he could have, but the way it just fluttered through the air and in. If you aren't a fan of the Tampa Bay Lightning, you were probably sitting there like me going, really? That's the first goal of the game? Okay. But it was the first goal of the game, and it was the only goal of the first period, so they went into the first intermission with Tampa Bay up 1-0. On to the second period. 13 minutes and 7 seconds into the second period, Shesterkin comes up with a stop, but there's a bit of chaos in the crease. Fortunately for the Rangers, Barclay Goodrow is able to come up with the puck. He does the responsible thing by clearing his defensive zone and shovels the puck out to the neutral zone. Unfortunately for the Rangers, it misses all of his teammates and lands on the stick of Jan Rutta, who just bumps the puck over to Andrei Palat at center ice. As Palat is settling down the puck, Kucherov clears the zone to touch up, get onside, and then he sees his teammate has the puck, so he turns right back around and heads toward the offensive zone. And this must have just been too much for the Rangers defense to handle because Andrei Palat hits him with the pass at the blue line, allowing Kucherov to just break up the center of the ice between 3 Rangers skaters. That gives him a partial breakaway one-on-one with Igor Shesterkin, and Nikita Kucherov just flips the puck past Shesterkin's glove. 2-0 Tampa. Now, that was just bad awareness by the defenseman for the Rangers. You can't just see Nikita Kucherov in the middle of the ice and just leave him there by himself. Or they just weren't paying attention, which is even worse with that line on the ice. Because if you give them that much space, they are going to score. And score they did. And once again, there was only one goal in that period, so this game went into the second intermission with Tampa Bay up 2-0. On to the third period. 4 minutes and 56 seconds into the third period, Andrei Palat comes up with the puck off of the right boards as he is battling for it with Mika Zibanejad. He skates up to the top of the right circle, takes a wrist shot toward Igor Shesterkin, and he makes the save! But once again, the rebound comes off of him. And if you are a Rangers or a Lightning fan, I don't know if you've also been watching my videos about the Colorado Avalanche and their series with the Edmonton Oilers, or when they were playing St. Louis, but I have been yelling about their right defenders and not doing their job on that right side of the net, where most goaltenders have their blocker and stick, but Pavel Francouz catches right. But there were just so many goals against the Avalanche where that side of the net was just wide open, and so either an Edmonton player or the Blues, when they were still playing them in the second round, they would just get the puck over there and it would go in because there was no defense there. Well, that's transitioned out east now, because as that puck comes off of Shesterkin, K'Andre Miller is at the top of the blue paint, so right in the middle in front of the net. He's not able to get to the puck as it bounces off Shesterkin and goes to his right. But guess who is there? 2 Tampa Bay Lightning skaters. Where is the right defense? Is this just a league-wide thing that this happens, that no team defends that side of the net? Or is it just the 2 teams I decided to root for in the playoffs this year after the first round? Because I'm losing my mind, and they are causing this to happen. Just look at this again. You have Shesterkin, he does his job, he makes the initial stop. You have K'Andre Miller out front, and he kind of moves to either attempt to block it or let it get past him to get to Shesterkin so he doesn't deflect it into the net. But he didn't need to be there. He wasn't in the shooting lane, but he's also so close to his goaltender that he's probably not going to break up any passes to that back door either. And he most certainly was not covering that far side when the rebound came off directly to Steven Stamkos, who sees a wide open net and his eyes light up, and he just gets a stick on it and boop, right in the back of the net. 3-0 Tampa. And at this point, you have this Rangers team that are supposedly out shooting the Lightning, but they really aren't getting any good chances. And on the other side, you have this veteran Lightning team who have been here before and know to just take advantage of the other team's mistakes. And that is exactly what they have done on all 3 goals. And on 2 of those 3 goals, their goaltender made the initial stop, either couldn't put the rebound where he wanted it to, or his defense just gave up on him and didn't help him out in clearing the puck. He tried to reach his stick back to the right to stop the Stamkos shot on that third one, but it was no use. It was in the net. And that is how we ended up at 3-0. You have one team shooting the puck but creating nothing. You have the other team not shooting the puck that much, but when they do, it's off of mistakes made by the defense and they capitalize on their chances. But 16 minutes and 27 seconds into the third period, the Rangers are finally on a power play. They only had 2 all game, but unlike a lot of games in these playoffs so far, I didn't really see any egregious missed calls by the officials on either side. I'm sure there will be somebody who disagrees with me. Just give me consistency with penalties. That's all I ask. So anyway, the Rangers are on the power play. Adam Fox has the puck at the point, as he so often does. He takes the shot, or more of a shot pass. It hits Andrew Kopp's stick, who's hanging out on Andrei Vasilevskiy's stick side of the net there. Vasilevskiy does what Vasilevskiy does best, and he makes the stop, but this time the rebound comes off of him right to the center of the ice. Frank Vatrano tries to get a stick on it, but it goes between his feet, but not all the way between his feet, because it ends up hitting his left skate, which bounces the puck out toward the right circle where Panarin is. And Artemi Panarin is able to beat Paul to the puck. He pulls it to his forehand, and as a right shot that pulls it away from the center of the ice where all of the traffic is, which gives him the open open shot as Vasilevskiy was down and trying to find the puck as it's bouncing off of feet and all around in that traffic. And Artemi Panarin, on his only shot of the game, scores a goal, a 100% shooting percentage in this one, and a 3-1 advantage for Tampa. So there was not only one goal scored in this period, unlike the first two, but there was only one goal scored for the Rangers, but not for the Lightning, because with just a few seconds left on the clock, K'Andre Miller has the puck at the offensive blue line looking for a shot. He holds on to the puck just a few moments too long instead of passing it across the blue line over to Adam Fox, who's waiting for it. Ondřej Palat pressures him and steals the puck and skates it down, putting it into the empty net. 4-1 Tampa. And that, my friends, is how this one ended. I'm sure if you are a Lightning fan, maybe it wasn't so boring to watch because your team scored technically 4 goals with the empty netter and tied up the series at 2. But man, that was a rough one to watch. Somehow the shots were 35-31 in favor of the New York Rangers. But I had to go on over to naturalstattrick.com because I wanted to take a look at the high danger chances for both teams. And those, unsurprisingly, were 16-10 in favor of the Lightning. Now, the Lightning had 31 shots on goal. That means over half of them were high danger chances for. That is unacceptable. And it's a miracle Shesterkin only allowed 3 of those. Maybe you want him to have all 3 of them that he did allow, especially that breakaway goal by Nikita Kucherov. But on the other hand, it is Nikita Kucherov. And on the other 2, you want the defense to help him out. But let's break it down by period. So in the first period, the New York Rangers had 10 shots on goal. They had 2 high danger scoring chances. The Lightning had 8 shots on goal. They had 5 high danger scoring chances. So they were outshot, but they outchanced the Rangers. In the second period, the New York Rangers had 12 shots on goal, so 2 more than the first period. They had 3 high danger chances, so 1 more than the first period. Tampa Bay had 7 shots on goal, 3 high danger scoring chances. So the Rangers outshot them 12-7. They both had 3 high danger chances. In the third period, the New York Rangers, needing to get something going because they went into that period down 2-0, had 13 shots on goal, and they had 5 high danger scoring chances. So it got a little better, and they did get 1 goal from Panarin. The Tampa Bay Lightning, coming into that third period with the 2-0 lead, had 16 shots on goal, and half of them were high danger scoring chances at 8. So how the heck did this happen? How did the Rangers outshoot Tampa, but Tampa outchanced the Rangers? Well, it's the Tampa Bay Lightning, it's kind of what they do. But the Rangers have also been very good at scoring goals here in the playoffs, at least at home. And they weren't at home this time, so I don't know, maybe they're just cursed on the road unless their backs are against the wall. But when you look at it stylistically, the Rangers were not shutting down any area of the ice. The Tampa skaters were allowed to just skate around pretty much wherever they wanted to, uncontested. They were able to take the puck to the net way too much, skate up the center of the ice way too much. And I talked about in the last video how the Rangers were just giving them the passing lanes through the slot. And that's what was generating a lot of their chances, because they could just pass the puck around wherever they wanted to. Shesterkin had to be moving to be ready for a shot, and the defense was just not shutting it down between the actual defenders and for the forwards. Nobody was shutting these things down. On the other hand, here in Game 4, Tampa really focused on shutting down the center of the ice. There were not many passes that went through, which is how we have seen the Rangers score before. Of course, Panarin passing it through the center of the ice to Zibanejad for the one-timer. Going back to New York, the pass from K'Andre Miller over to Philip Hedl, those just were not available last night, and the Rangers weren't allowed to take the puck to the net or get shots from the middle of the slot, which obviously kudos to Tampa for shutting that down and playing a very sound defensive game. But on the other hand, the Rangers didn't change up their play at all. There were no adjustments made. They were still trying to make those passes all game long, and most of those tries guys ended up with the puck going 200 feet away, and then Shesterkin has to come up with a save off of another mistake. Or they would skate into the zone, they would get a chance, but it would be one and done. They had 3 attempts off of a rebound. That's it. 3. Tampa Bay had 2 goals off of a rebound. You can shoot the puck as much as you want to, but against a goaltender like Andrei Vasilevskiy, you have to get traffic in front of him. You have to be there for second chance opportunities. He doesn't soak everything up. His best save of the night came with about 3 minutes to go in the second period, where his own defender, Chernak, ran into him, so he's like falling over, but manages to get his right arm up against the post to stop Lafreniere. That may be the easiest 34 save performance he's ever had in his life. I don't want to be all doom and gloom here because the series is tied 2-2, and now it shifts back to New York for Game 5. And the Rangers have only lost 1 game on home ice in the postseason, and they have something like a 7-game home winning streak going, 6 or 7 games. So they have played much better at home. And if they continue to rely on that, that's good news for them, because now we are down to a best of 3 series, and 2 of those games are at Madison Square Garden. But they cannot keep waiting until the last few minutes of the period to get any sort of offensive pressure going, which is something that we saw in all 3 periods last night for them. They had a good push at the end of the first, so even though they were down 1-0, you could say take some momentum from that, come out in the second, get the tying goal, and let's start rolling. But they didn't. Nikita Kucherov scored in the second period, but then they had a push at the end of the second period. So okay, let's take some momentum from this. Come out in the third period rolling and get something going here. You only need 2 goals to tie it. But that didn't happen, and Stamkos scores just about 5 minutes in. Maybe you can take something good away from this, being that Panarin did score and it was on the power play, so their power play keeps producing, but they absolutely have to get going at 5-on-5, because you can't just be relying on the other team to take a penalty or on the officials to call a penalty. There have been a lot of games in the playoffs where there are a bunch of penalties, and it seems like both teams are just on the power play constantly. But there have also been games like last night where there are 5 total penalties, and the Rangers only had 2 power plays there. So even if they had scored on both of those, they still lose. Maybe only 3-2, or Tampa still gets that empty netter and it's 4-2. Have the Lightning woken up again after being, I don't know, tired from 9 days off before starting the series? Maybe. Are the Rangers just really bad at playing on the road in the playoffs this year? Well, yes, but we will see, I guess, if that is the main contributing factor to these last 2 games once they go into Game 5 tomorrow night. They have to just erase these 2 games from their memory. Don't think about blowing the 2-goal lead that you had in Game 3. You'll be back at home, you'll have the Garden fans cheering for you in that loud electric building, the building where you've absolutely dominated in this postseason, and you have the chance to take the 3-2 lead in the series. You have to come out ready. It will be interesting to see how the Rangers do come out in this game, if they change up their play at all, if Tampa is still shutting down the center of the ice, or if they are able to get some chances going and capitalize on some Tampa mistakes like Tampa was able to do to them. It will also be interesting to see if they get Ryan Strome and Filip Chytil back. Strome was injured in Game 3, so he did not play in Game 4, and Filip Chytil left the game in the second period after a collision with Victor Hedman. He was going for a loose puck on the right half wall, and Hedman just came up behind him and shoved him into the boards. But unlike a lot of plays that we have seen in the postseason so far, that was just your typical board battle play and wasn't vicious by Hedman at all. So I don't know what the injury on Chytil was there. Maybe some part of him hit the boards or the glass awkwardly. I was trying to watch the replay a few times to try to get a sense of what may be injured, or if he or Hedman played that poorly, resulting in the injury, but it really didn't seem like it. Just an unfortunate outcome from a board battle play. But Gerard Gallant said both guys were a game time decision tomorrow, so we will see what happens. And hopefully Artemi Panarin stops giving the puck away. The Rangers had 3 official giveaways in this game, which I don't know how they count giveaways really, but Panarin had 2 of them. That goal does not make up for the rest of the game that he had. But that's gonna be all from me in this one. If you are a Rangers fan, how are you feeling? Let me know down in the comments. If you are a Lightning fan, are you feeling a lot more confident now that the series is tied up? Let me know down in the comments. But if you would like to hear more from me or from Center Ice, you can head on over to FromCenterIce.com. There's links to all the places you can find us over there. If you would like to follow along on social media, you can find the links for those platforms down in the description. If you aren't subscribed to this channel yet, go ahead and do that. Hit the like button on this video. That would make me so very happy. But all of this being said, thank you all so very much for tuning in. I appreciate you, and let's hope for a much better game tomorrow night. I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye guys.